6:49, time for the morning rush. An Albuquerque man is awaiting sentencing after being convicted of brutally raping and beating a woman nearly 30 years ago. In November of 1994, a woman was out jogging in the bosque where she was beaten, gagged, and raped. Gilbert Contreras' DNA came back as a match in the case. He now faces up to 72 years in prison. The Gallup Police Department is continuing their search for a man accused of murder. Police say the 23-year-old Skylar Jonathan Gishi is responsible for a fatal shooting earlier this month. Police believe that he is armed and dangerous. If you know anything of his whereabouts, you're asked to call the Gallup Police Department or Crime Stoppers at 843-STOP. Ryan.
And temperatures will do a little bit of a roller coaster effect. Starting off chilly, but warming up today in the mid to upper 60s in Albuquerque, near 60 in Santa Fe. High 30s and 40s to the north, 60s and 70s to the south, and between strong winds from Santa Rosa and Las Vegas. Wet and wintry weather will move southeastward ahead.
A prolific shoplifter who was warned by a judge to stay out of trouble is facing charges yet again. Officers arrested 38-year-old Melissa Owens and 31-year-old Blake Scott Montgomery at a Target in northeast Albuquerque. The two are facing felony shoplifting and conspiracy to commit shoplifting charges. Owens is also facing a drug charge after a detective found fentanyl pills and crystal meth in her possession. Corrales residents there are now pushing the village to address some problems with local wildlife. The village saw a small number of coyote attacks throughout October, leaving both pets and livestock injured. Residents are now asking the village to be more proactive, including coyote hazing. Ryan.
And we have wind alerts in effect, a wind advisory for Santa Rosa, and also a high wind warning eventually later today for Las Vegas. Winds, especially tonight, up to 70 miles per hour. Blowing dust will be widespread. That fire threat will be higher, and we could be seeing high-profile vehicles swaying in the wind, blowing snow in the high terrain. Changes with the weather pattern to come.
This morning, dozens of people across the nation are speaking on the impact of former U.S. Senator Fred Harris. Former Senator Harris passed away on Saturday at the age of 94. After his political career, Harris worked as a political science professor at UNM. He later launched the Fred Harris Congressional Internship in 2006. A recent episode of 60 Minutes here on CBS featured a journey to the self-proclaimed lowrider capital of the world here in New Mexico. Correspondent Bill Whitaker traveled to Espanola, where he caught up with local artist Rob Vanderslice, who told him that working on the cars helped him get past his darkest times. Ryan.
And taking a look at traffic right now, we are looking at the maps, and we do notice that there aren't that many accidents or slowdowns to be reported as of now, just minor slowdowns along I-40 eastbound. And taking a look at the Big I right now, we do notice that influx of cars, the volume, but no major accidents or slowdowns. We'll have more updates later today.
Creatures roared through the streets of one Slovenian city, sending shivers down the spines of young children for the traditional Krampus parade. As the devilish counterpart to St. Nick, Krampus gives misbehaving children lumps of coal instead of the traditional Christmas presents for those who have been good all year round.
And now it's time for the 5 Facts. And at number 5, a recent episode of 60 Minutes here on CBS featured a journey to the self-proclaimed lowrider capital of the world right here in New Mexico. Correspondent Bill Whitaker traveled to Espanola, where he caught up with local artist Rob Vanderslice, who told him that working on the cars helped him get past his darkest times.
At number 4, Corrales residents are pushing the village to address some problems with local wildlife. The small village saw a number of coyote attacks throughout October, leaving both pets and livestock injured. Residents are asking the village to be more proactive.
And at number 3, air masses clashing here in the Duke City with clouds. Cold to start, warming up this afternoon, 35 right now, and a beautiful sky. Things are set to change ahead.
At number 2, APD says a well-known shoplifter who's already been warned by a judge to stay out of trouble had been out of jail and back to her old habits. Officers arrested 38-year-old Melissa Owens and 31-year-old Blake Scott Montgomery at a Target in northeast Albuquerque last Thursday. The two are accused of stealing nearly $2,500 worth of goods. Court records show in 2018, Owens pled guilty to a number of charges but received a conditional discharge. Owens and Montgomery are facing felony shoplifting charges in the latest case. And at number 1, an Albuquerque man is awaiting sentencing this morning after being convicted of a brutal raping and beating of a woman nearly 30 years ago. In November 1994, Gilbert Contreras raped a woman who was out jogging on a trail near the bosque. The woman's rape kit sat untested for years until 2020. and his DNA came back as a match in the case. The victim in that case has since passed away, but her family was part of the trial. The jury convicted Contreras of rape resulting in great mental anguish, great bodily harm, and kidnapping. He faces up to 72 years in prison.